Many of you at home may still be quite uncertain about exactly how this vote moved through the Senate today.
Questioning what it means and how it may impact you in the future, UW political science professor Charles Franklin is here now sharing further analysis of what happened tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Now, first, the thing we keep hearing is this is being called illegal.
Sure.
And is it?
Well, there may well be some legal challenge to it. I thought your report explained that the open meetings law requires notification, usually 24 hours. This was done in a little under 2. So there's some reason to challenge on those grounds. I think basically you're going to see one set of challenges going that way, another in the political arena. That's the split here.
Now, what about separating this and making it a non-fiscal issue? I got a press release right here from the governor's office 2 days ago, and the headline is "Collective Bargaining is a Fiscal Issue."
Yeah,
and now it's not.
It's a dramatic change of approach. Whether a bill is a fiscal issue is a relatively technical decision. Senator Fitzgerald says that 3 nonpartisan agencies have agreed that the modified bill meets the criterion for being non-fiscal. I suspect that may yet be another area where we could see legal challenges. But exactly what makes it fiscal has to do with its impact on state obligations and so on. This one ends up with a bigger budget surplus than we would have without it. And I suspect that's the basic claim of why it's not raising the state's obligation.
Sure. The people on the social network sites who I heard from tonight at home were wondering what happened to this so-called compromising we've been hearing about. It feels like they blinked and this came again.
It certainly did. I think there are 2 things. One is all of the possible changes that were talked about in the emails that were released this week were far too small to bring the unions and the Democrats to easily support that. They still struck the heart of unions in whether they had mandatory representation, whether they had to be reelected or recertified, and whether they could collect dues from paychecks. So since none of that was going to change, it's very unlikely that would have been enough for the Democrats to accept. And finally, I think with the end of those negotiations and the very public blow-up in the last couple of days, the GOP decided to go ahead and move this bill. When you have a legislative majority and it's coherent, it's very hard to stop it over the long run. The Democrats leaving escalated this dramatically. Now the Republicans have replied in turn by using a very dramatic and unusual legislative maneuver to do what they wanted.
So presumably it moves through the Assembly, the governor signs it, and then the legal battle begins.
And then we're on to elections and recalls as well.
There you go.
Boy,
we save that discussion for another day. Professor Charles Franklin, as always, thanks for joining us, giving us some great insight.